Greetings, friends. Today we'll learn lesson 3 of module 3, paper 7, corporate funding and listing of stock exchange, infrastructure investment trust. This lesson is almost, you may say, a copy paste of the syllabus prepared for REIT by institute, and there are very minor deviation when we see it by comparing real estate investment trust and infrastructure investment trust as given in institute's study material. So I'll discuss infrastructure investment trust vis-a-vis REIT, real estate investment trust, as given in study material of institute for the new syllabus, and you will find that there are very many few deviations that has been given in our study material. So it would be easier for us to cover infrastructure investment trust when we compare it with real estate investment trust, and simultaneously we would be able to appreciate the difference and learn both the topic together, real estate investment trust as well as infrastructure investment trust. So with one study we'll cover both the lessons, lesson 2 and lesson 3 of corporate funding and listing of stock exchanges. Let's start. An infrastructure investment trust is like a mutual fund. This enables small investor, not so small, but because the amount involved for investing in infrastructure investment trust is more than what is required under the real estate investment trust. So even then, this is the pooling of the money of which helps individual and institutional investor in infrastructure to earn a small portion of income as a return. Infrastructure, what do we mean infrastructure? It is project such as road or highways which takes time to generate steady cash flow. An infrastructure investment trust, as its name suggests, is a trust under the Trust Act and registered under the Registration Act. As you know, a trust is an obligation attached to the ownership of property. This obligation is created by the author of the trust, accepted by the owner of property, and owed to the beneficiary identified in the trust deed. In the context of infrastructure investment trust, the trust is created by the sponsor. The ownership of the property vests in the trustee, and the beneficiaries are the unit holders of the infrastructure investment trust. Same is applicable for real estate investment trust also. The difference is, in real estate investment trust we have a manager. In infrastructure investment trust we have an investment manager, and there is another manager, project manager, which deals the project which is executed through infrastructure investment trust. Now the difference between real estate investment trust, in our study material, real estate investment trust, we have the history of real estate investment trust. Here in infrastructure investment trust, no such history has been given. However, the toner and the nature of both the trust are same. Infrastructure investment trust, the governing code is SEBI Infrastructure Investment Trust Regulation 2014 and notified on the same day as notified REIT, that is on 26th September 2014. It is the same structure as REIT, that is trust under the Indian Trust Act, and listing is mandatory in case of infrastructure investment satisfying all the conditions. In infrastructure investment trust, we have parties of sponsor group. Study material doesn't talk about the designated sponsor. However, obviously there will be redesignated sponsor who replaces the original sponsor. As told you, there are investment manager, project manager, whereas in RIT there is a manager, and like REIT we have trustee who should not be associated with a sponsor, manager, or principal valuer. The sponsor should hold or propose to hold minimum 15% of unit for a period not less than 3 years from listing. The difference you can see with REIT is there is a holding limit of 25% for the first 3 years under REIT, and thereafter that holding could be reduced to 15% for REIT. The investment condition as applicable for REIT, at least 80% of value of assets of infrastructure investment trust should be in completed and revenue generating infrastructure assets. Remaining 20% could be invested in under construction infrastructure assets, and like REIT it could be invested in government securities, money instrument, or cash equivalent. So these are the investment condition for infrastructure investment trust. You can see the difference of study material. When it comes to study material, I have cut the non-applicable portion of REIT to infrastructure investment trust. Valuation of asset as done in as done for infrastructure investment trust, it has to be done yearly and updating on a half yearly basis. NAV declaration within 15 days from the date of valuation and updation. This explicitly you will not find in infrastructure investment trust lesson 3 of the study material. However, when you have the thorough study, you will find that this is applicable to both infrastructure investment trust as well as REIT. Distribution of income, similarly, in the like manner, 90% of net distributable income after tax to be distributed at least to the unit holder on half yearly basis and not later than 15 days. This income is income tax free. The dividend distribution tax is not applicable for infrastructure investment trust. The investment in the case of INV-IT could also be done directly SPV, wherein the infrastructure investment trust should have at least 80% of the SPV should have at least 80% of their assets directly in such properties and not other controlling stake in SPV. The controlling stake as in REIT, 50% should be with infrastructure investment trust. Initial offer minimum size is 250 crore in case of infrastructure investment trust also as in case of REIT. The difference with REIT is in IT could be through public offer or private placements also, which we'll study at the later part. However, when it comes to initial offer, it should be offered not less than 25% of unit post issue basis. Trading lot in case of infrastructure investment trust is 100 unit, and subscription under initial offer or follow on offer should not be less than 1 lakh rupees for a unit holder. When it is private placed, the minimum investment required is 1 crore rupees for NYT. Borrowing and deferred payment, though I didn't find the similar provision as there in REIT, but there has to be limit which cannot exceed 49% as in the case of REIT. Eligibility condition, same copy paste of REIT, that is applicant should be a sponsor to be registered a sponsor on behalf of the registered trustee. Deed should be duly registered under Registration Act, and object should be to carry out infrastructure investment trust. A sponsor, explicit provision is not there, but as I told you, he should hold it should hold 15% throughout the tenure of the infrastructure investment chart. Net worth, if it is body corporate, rupees 100 crore. Experience not less than 5 years, and at least 2 completed project if it is a developer, as in the case of infrastructure real estate investment trust. Here the concept of investment manager, copy paste of REIT. If it is a body corporate, it should have a net tangible asset of not less than 10 crore. LLP, in case of body corporate, net worth should be not less than 10 crore. In case of LLP, net tangible asset should not be less than 10 crore rupees. 5 years experience in fund management, advisory services, development in infra sector is required. 2 key experience personnel should be with investment manager. What I have done here is, whatever you will see in green is some addition which I find in a study material vis-a-vis REIT lecture. So 2 key personnel with same experience, 5-year experience in fund management, advisory services, in infrastructure. 1 or more employee, 5-year experience in relevant sector, and there should be an investment management agreement with trustee wherein responsibility should be clearly defined. In case of if it is a body corporate or LLP, half of the director or member should be independent and they should not be member of any other NYT. Apart from investment manager, we have a concept of project manager, which should also be identified and appointed in terms of the project implementation, management agreement, which is to be submitted with draft of a document or placement memo to SEBI and the stock exchange, designated stock exchange. Trustee should be registered with SEBI, obviously under debenture, SEBI debenture regulation 1993. It should not be associated with sponsor, investment manager, and should have sufficient resources and infrastructure project. Other conditions, as in the case of REIT, you will find there is no difference at all, as no superior voting right vis-a-vis other unit holder should be there in case of NYT and REIT both. However, subordinate unit which is issued to sponsor or associated should be with inferior rights. Application should clearly describe the proposed activity to be taken by invitee, and invitee and parties should be fit and proper person in accordance with Schedule 2 of SEBI Intermediary Regulation 2008. In the registration application, invitee and REIT both have to declare if there is any previous rejection of their application by SEBI, or some disciplinary action has been taken by SEBI or other regulatory authorities against invitee, its director, sponsor, and any other member. Now, in our study material, REIT talks about issue and allotment. It has been rephrased as offer and listing for infrastructure investment trust. REIT, you have a mandatory initial offer and it has to be there, whereas no such requirement is there in invitee. However, if suppose the invitee makes an initial offer, it can make initial offer only if it is a registered and value of asset owned by invitee not less than rupees 500 crore, including holding in underlying SPV. It could be complied before allotment of unit. So the similar provision as in REIT has been given for invitee also. In case of REIT, we have minimum number of unit holder as 200, whereas in case of invitee, because amount being large, is not less than 20. Offer size is 250 crore for both the investment trust. Similar condition as in REIT, that 25% of total outstanding unit on post issue capital basis should not be less than 25% if the total offered value is offer size is 1600 crore. It is 400 crore if post issue capital of invitee calculated at offer price is 2 or more than 1600 crore but less than 4000 crore. It should be 10% if the offer size is more than 4000 crore. Unit offered to sponsor, manager, related parties associated not to be counted. Listed REIT to have at least 25% on account of that 400 crore minimum post issue capital size for public, or at least 10% clause of offer minimum offer size and allotment size. Invitee, if the holding falls below 25%, then it has a 3 years period to rectify it and needs to increase to the minimum limit required within 3 years. If invitee raises fund by way of private placement, it shall do it through a placement memorandum, and private placement is from institutional investor and body corporate only. It could be Indian as well as foreign, and if the investor is foreign, then it needs to comply with the RBI guidelines and government guideline. The minimum investment is rupees 1 crore. Apart from above, if such an privately placed IT invest or propose to invest not less than 80% of the value of invite asset in completed and revenue generating asset, the minimum investment from an investor shall be rupees 25 crore. So it's a huge sum that is required to be invested when it comes to the private placement. Then in this case, the investment should not be from less than 5, and it could not be from more than 1000 investor. The invitee shall file a placement memorandum with SEBI along with a fee specified in SEBI in IT regulation at least 5 days prior to the opening of the issue. However, such opening of issue shall not be at a date later than 3 months from the receipt of in principle approval for listing from exchanges. It is required that it shall file the final placement memorandum with SEBI within a period of 10 working days from the date of listing of the units issued. Now, if invitee raises fund by public issue, these are all in green, so you can understand that these are the additional topics given in study material of institute as far as invitee is concerned. So if the invitee raises fund by public issue, invitee it shall be by way of initial public offer. Any subsequent issue of unit after initial offer may be by way of follow-on offer, preferential allotment, qualified institutional placement, right issue, bonus issue, offer or for sale, or any other mechanism, and in the manner as prescribed by SEBI. Minimum subscription from any investor in the initial and follow-on offer shall be rupees 1 lakh. Prior to initial public offer and follow-on offer, the merchant bankers shall file the draft offer document along with prescribed fee with the designated stock exchange and SEBI not less than 30 working days before filing of offer document with the designated stock exchange and SEBI. The same stipulation as applicable for REIT. The draft offer document similar way should be made available to public for comment in the website of SEBI designated stock exchange merchant banker for a period not less than 21 days. Draft offer document, final offer document should have due diligence certificate signed by lead merchant banker. Lead SEBI, if has any observation or comment, should communicate it to lead merchant banker and lead merchant banker to ensure comment suitably ensure that comment are suitably taken into account, and issue is to be made within 1 year from the comment. Then if there is no observation, then within 21 working days REIT, and in this case invitee, may file final offer document with designated stock exchange and SEBI. Five working days, it should be filed within 5 working days before opening of the offer, and initial offer, follow-on offer should be open for subscription for a period of not more than 30 days. In case of oversubscription, so oversubscription, similar provision are there. Who can invest? Similar provision as is REIT, that any person, resident or foreign, can invest. I'll try to speed it up so that we cover whole topic in one video. You could easily recall the stipulation of REIT. The application, as in the case of REIT, should be issued with a statement containing abridged version of offer document detailing risk factor and terms of issue. How it is allotted? In same way, REIT oversubscription, proportionate basis, rounded offer to near integer, subject to minimum subscription. Refund if allotted or minimum subscription is achieved and money is to be refunded, then within 12 working days from the date of closing. And issues are made only in dematerialized form. Price is determined by way of book building process or any other process as prescribed in circular guidelines of SEBI or RBI, and in a manner as prescribed by SEBI, specified by SEBI. Invitees shall refund money to all applicant in case it fails to collect subscription of at least 90% of ratio issue size as specified in offer document. Second, applicant has to be refunded money to the extent of oversubscription. In case the money received is in excess of the extent of oversubscription as specified in the offer document, money shall be refunded to applicant to the extent of that oversubscription. Again, refund is to be made if to all applicant in case the number of subscribers to the initial offer forming part of the public is less than 20, which is 200 in case of REIT. There is again right to retain 25% of issue size for NYT. The offer document should contain adequate disclosure toward the utilization of such oversubscription proceed, and such proceed retained on account of oversubscription shall not be utilized toward general purpose. If what happens if it fails to allot or list or refund within time, same manager, in this case investment manager, is responsible to pay interest at the rate of 15%. In case of NYT, we have provision of units which may be offered for sale to public if such unit have been held by seller for a period of at least 1 year prior to the filing of draft offer document with SEBI. The holding period of the equity shares, compulsorily convertible securities from the date such securities are fully paid, or partnership interest in the holdco or SPV against which such unit have been received shall be considered for the purpose of calculation of 1 year, subject to other guideline obviously of SEBI. And like in REIT, amount for general purpose cannot exceed 10% of amount raised through offers. What happens if NYT failure to make public issue or private placement within 3 years from the date of registration? It has to surrender the certificate of registration and it shall cease to operate as NYT. However, SEBI has given power in fit cases to extend period by 1 year. Again, NYT can reapply for registration in case of its seizure. Now, guideline for public issue of units of NYT has been given in our study material, where these guidelines are notified on 11th May 2016. Filing of offer document. The first draft offer document has to be filed with SEBI and designated stock exchange. The lead merchant banker have to submit the certificate confirming that the agreement is entered between the investment manager on behalf of NYT and lead manager merchant banker, along with due diligence certificate in the prescribed form. The draft offer document shall be hosted on the website of SEBI, designated stock exchange and merchant banker for public comment within 10 days of filing. SEBI may specify changes or issue observation within prescribed time, pursuant to which the draft offer document has to be suitably modified. After filing offer document with SEBI, LMB means lead merchant banker, shall issue pre-issue advertisement. All these conditions are applicable for REIT also. However, no such guideline has been given for REIT separately in our study material. Now, how allocation is done to the public? Institutional investors shall not be allocated more than 75% in the public offering of NYT units. Other investors, including retail investors, have to be allocated at least 25% of unit. Here we have anchor investor who, as a strategic investor, may participate in the offer as an anchor investor. Any strategic investor can participate as anchor investor in case of NYT. The investment manager on behalf of the NYT may allocate up to 60% of the portion available to institutional investor to anchor investors. The anchor investor will have to make an application for a value of at least rupees 100 million in the public issue. Allocation to anchor investors shall be on a discretionary basis and subject to minimum of 2 investors for allocation of up to rupees 2.5 billion and minimum 5 investors for allocation exceeding rupees 2.5 billion. The bidding for anchor investors should be before the issue opening date and the allocation must be completed on the same date. The number of units allocated and the allocation price must be disclosed on the website of stock exchanges, sponsors, investment managers and merchant bankers. The anchor investors shall have to bring in the deficit between the cutoff price and allocation price. There is a lock-in period of 30 days for an anchor investor other than a strategic investor. However, lock-in period of 1 year for a strategic investor investing as anchor investor. We have in detail discussed the strategic investor in REIT lecture. Then neither the merchant banker nor any person related to merchant banker in the concerned public issue can apply under the anchor investor category except mutual fund, insurance companies and pension fund. There is a requirement of security deposit. The investment manager on behalf of NYT will have to deposit before the opening of subscription and keep deposited with the stock exchange an amount calculated at a rate of 0.5% of the amount of unit offered for subscription to the public, or rupees 50 million, whichever is lower, as security deposit. Opening of an issue and subscription period. The issue shall open after at least 5 working days from the date of filing of final offer document with SEBI. The public issue shall remain open for at least 3 working days but not more than 30 working days. In case of price band revision, the bidding period shall be extended for at least 1 day, provided the overall period doesn't exceed 30 days. Price band. The floor price or the price band has to be announced at least 5 working days before the opening of the issue on the website of the sponsor, investment manager, stock exchanges, NYIT, and in all newspaper in which the pre-issue advertisement was released. Differential pricing shall not be offered to any investor. Final price of the units, that is cut-off price, may be determined in consultation with lead merchant banker or through book building process. Bidding is through the electronic linked bidding facility of a stock exchange. This is mandatory. Payment through ASBA facility had been made optional. Basis of the bids of an institutional investor may be rejected by the lead merchant banker at the time of acceptance of bid, after providing reasons to the bidder and recording the same in writing. Withdrawing or lowering of bid size has been prohibited. The units shall be issued to all bidder at and above the cut-off price. Allotment of units other than anchor investor shall be on proportionate basis within the specified investment categories, subject to minimum allotment as per the regulation. In case of undersubscription in any investor category, the subscribed portion may be allotted to the unsubscribed portion may be allotted to applicant in any other category. Then the public communication, no extraneous matter and should be truthful and fair. However, NYIT cannot make public issue if sponsor, investment manager, trustee has been debarred to access market by SEBI or is a willful defaulter declared by RBI. Investment manager have to appoint a compliance officer for monitoring compliance of securities law, besides redressing investor grievances. There are guidelines for preferential issue of unit by SEBI. Conditions that need to be satisfied for preferential issue are: first, approval of unit holder is required. Then invitee should complying with the condition for continuous listing and disclosure obligation under these regulations, any circular issued hereunder. The invitee is in compliance with the minimum public unit holding requirement as stipulated under the regulation. No preferential issue of unit by invitee has been made in the 6 months preceding to the relevant date. Preferential issue pursuant to unit holder resolution shall be completed within a period of 12 months from the date of passing of resolution. Allotment to be made within 12 days, and unit should be issued in dematerialized form. Further, there is a provision that such units have been listed on a recognized stock exchange having nationwide trading terminal for a period of at least 6 months prior to the date of issuance of notice to the unit holder for convening the meeting to approve the preferential issue. The minimum subscription trading lot, as discussed, for the unit to be issued in preferential issue shall be same. The unit in a preferential issue shall be offered and allotted to a minimum of 2 investors and maximum of 1000 investors in a financial year. Relevant date has been defined for the purpose of preferential issue. It shall be in the date of the meeting in which the board of directors of investment manager of the invitee or the committee of directors duly authorized by the board of directors of the investment manager of the invitee decide to open the proposed issue. Placement document for preferential issue. The invitee may appoint one or more SEBI registered intermediary to carry out obligation relating to issue. The preferential issue of units by invitee shall be done on the basis of placement document, which shall contain disclosure as specified in regulation, invitee regulation. The placement document shall be serially numbered and copies shall be circulated only to select investors subject to compliance with the stipulation as discussed just now. The invitee shall, while seeking in principle approval from the recognized stock exchange, furnish a copy of placement document, a certificate issued by merchant banker or a statutory auditor confirming compliance with the provision of these guidelines, along with any other document required by the stock exchange. The placement document shall also be placed on the website of stock exchange, and the invitee with a disclaimer to the effect that it is in connection with preferential issue and that no offer is being made to the public or to any other investor. Now, pricing. The preferential issue shall be made at a price not less than the average of the weekly high and low of the closing prices of the units quoted on the stock exchange during the 2 weeks preceding the relevant date. It has been given explained that for the purpose of this particular clause, the term stock exchange means any of the recognized stock exchanges on which the unit of invitee are listed and on which the highest trading volume in such units has been recorded during the 2 weeks immediately preceding the relevant date. Invitee shall not allot partly paid up units. The prices determined for preferential issue shall be subject to appropriate adjustment if invitee makes a right issue of unit, is involved in such other similar event or circumstances which in the opinion of the concerned stock exchange require any adjustment. Restriction on allotment has been given that no allotment shall be made either directly or indirectly to any party to invitee or their related parties except to the sponsor only to the extent that is required to ensure compliance with regulation 12.3 of invitee regulation. And how related parties are defined? These are the party as defined under the invitee regulation. It shall be applicable. Mutual fund, insurance companies, pension funds shall not be treated as related parties. Then transferability of unit. The unit allotted under preferential issue shall not be sold by the allottee for a period of 1 year from the date of allotment except on a recognized stock exchange. Now, listing and trading of units, almost same as REIT. Mandatory listing whether public issue or privately, but not applied if initial offer does not satisfy minimum subscription amount subscriber as per the regulation. It has to be listed 12 working days from the date of closure of offer in recognized stock exchange, having countrywide trading terminal, and as per the listing agreement. Non-receipt of listing permission, withdrawal of observation, unit are not eligible for listed, then refund with interest at the rate of 15% from the date of allotment. Trading unit which are traded, cleared and settled. It has to be as per bylaws of the concerned stock exchange and condition is specified by SEBI. Here again the trading lot is 100 unit. Redemption only by way of buyback or at the time of delisting. If minimum public holding falls down for minimum, then action by SEBI and DSE including delisting. I didn't find that trustee has been given power for extension for giving a 6-month period to manager to rectify the defect in NYT which was given in RAIT. Holding period, I didn't find any study material when it comes to comparison between RAIT and NYT. Minimum unit holder other than sponsor, privately placed 5, each holding not more than 25%. If public placed, 20 unit holders, each holding not more than 25%. At all times post listing of the unit, failing which action may be taken as may be specified by SEBI and the designated stock exchanges, including delisting of unit under this regulation. In respect of listing of privately placed units, the unit shall be mandatorily listed on this designated stock exchange within 30 working days from the date of allotment. Trading lot for the purpose of trading of units on the designated stock exchange shall be rupees 1 crore. Apart from this, if an NYT invests not less than 80% of the value of NYT asset in completed and revenue generating assets, the trading lot for the purpose of trading of unit on the designated stock exchange of such NYT shall be rupees 2 crore. With publicly offered unit, its unit shall be mandatorily listed on the designated stock exchanges within 12 working days from the date of closure of the initial public offer. This shall not apply if the initial public offer does not satisfy the minimum subscription amount or the minimum number of subscribers as prescribed under the SEBI NYT regulation. Trading lot 100 units. If any person other than a sponsor is holding unit of NYT prior to initial offer, shall hold the unit for a period not less than 1 year from the date of listing of the units. SEBI and designated stock exchange may specify any other requirement in the interest of unit holder. Delisting, as I already told, this is the question which has in this topic the question was asked in the previous exam. Application: the investment manager shall apply for delisting of units of NYT to SEBI and designated stock exchange if first, the public holding falls below the specified limit under NYT regulation, that is falls below 20. The number of unit holder of the NYT falls below the limit as prescribed in NYT regulation. If there are No projects or assets remaining under the NYIT for a period exceeding 6 months, and NYIT has no plan for any project in future. The period may be extended by further 6 months with the approval of unit holder. Same condition, all are same as in REIT. SEBI or designated stock exchanges require such delisting for violation of listing agreement or these regulations or the act. The sponsor or trustee requests such delisting and it is approved by unit holder. Then unit holder apply for delisting in accordance with regulation, or SEBI in the interest of unit holder requires delisting. Now power of SEBI, as in case of REIT, application for approval or rejection in the interest of unit holder, they can decide. SEBI can grant additional time to comply with the regulation. SEBI can reject application or take any other action. And delisting procedure, the invitee has to give exit option as per the listing agreement. This selling and at the time of wind up, sale of asset to redeem unit has not given me in the study material, but I find that this is also applicable for NYIT. After delisting, NYIT has to surrender the certificate and liabilities. The NYIT and parties to the NYIT shall continue to be liable for all their acts of omission and commissions with respect to activities of NYIT, notwithstanding surrender of the registration, similar to the REIT. This is in fact the slide from the REIT as given here, same conditions. Now similar to the investment condition and distribution policy of REIT, we need the concept of holdco or holding company and SPV. Same concept, where holdco shall be either company or LLP in which REIT, in case of in this case it says NYIT hold or propose to hold not less than 50% equity share capital interest, and in turn holdco has invested in SPV. Ultimately SPV holds the property. Here properties are the infrastructure projects, not engage in any other activity other than holding SPVs or holding. Again here it is not real estate property, it is infrastructure project, any other incidental activities to such holding. And SPV, it is again can be company or LLP in which REIT or holdco holds or propose to hold not less than 50% of equity share capital or interest. SPV should hold not less than 80% of its assets directly in properties, not, and it should not invest in other SPV, not engaged in any other activity holding developing properties or incidental activities. So this is basically either the infrastructure. Here again, because I have taken the picture of REIT, this is not the real estate property as far as the NYIT is concerned. NYIT, it should be the infrastructure project. NYIT can directly invest in infrastructure project or through holdcos or through SPVs, or NYIT to holdco to SPV and then infrastructure project in the same manner as in REIT. Investment only in holdco and or SPV or infrastructure project or securities in India in accordance with SEBI NYIT regulation and the investment strategy as detailed in the offer document. In case of PPE project, the InvIT shall mandatorily invest in infrastructure project through Holdco and or SPV. PPP project is applicable for InvIT and not for the REIT. It shall not invest, obviously this is not given in study material, but I believe that this is also applicable for InvIT. It shall not invest in vacant land, agriculture land, mortgage and other then mortgage backed securities, contiguous extended land project, these are not included. May invest through SPV subject to same condition as for applicable for REIT, that is no other shareholder or partner of the SPV shall exercise any right that prevent the InvIT from complying with the provision of the SEBI InvIT regulation, and an agreement has been entered into with such shareholders or partners to that effect prior to the investment in SPV. However, there could be mechanism for resolution of dispute in agreement if there is any dispute arises between InvIT and the other shareholder or partners in Holdco and SPVs. Further, the provision of SEBI InvIT regulations shall prevail in case of inconsistency between such agreement and obligation. This goes without saying because regulation will always override the agreement between the parties. In case of SPV is a company or LLP, the investment manager in consultation with trustees shall appoint majority of board of director or governing board of such SPV as applicable. Then the investment manager shall ensure that in every meeting including AGM of SPV, the voting right is exercised on behalf of InvIT. Same thing goes for Holdco. If it invests through Holdco, ultimate holding interest of InvIT in underlying SPV should not be less than 26%. No other shareholder or partner of Holdco or SPV shall exercise any right that prevent the InvIT, Holdco or SPV from complying with the provision of SEBI InvIT regulation. An agreement has been entered into with such shareholder or partner to that effect prior to the investment in Holdco and SPV. However, the shareholder agreement and partnership agreement shall provide for an appropriate mechanism for resolution of dispute. Then investment manager in consultation with trustees shall appoint the majority of board of director or governing board of Holdco. Again, AGM and all meeting voting right is to be exercised on behalf of InvIT. In case of InvIT, as specified and discussed above, not less than 80% of the value of InvIT assets shall be invested proportionate to the holding of InvIT in completed and revenue generating infrastructure projects subject to the conditions given, or if the investment has been made through a Holdco and or SPV, whether by way of equity or debt equity linked instrument or partnership interest, only the portion of direct investment in completed and revenue generating project by such Holdco and or SPV shall be considered, and the remaining portion shall be included under clause B, that is 20% investment where is to be done. If any project is implemented in stages, then the part of the project which can be categorized as completed and revenue generating project shall be considered for this 80% portion, otherwise it will be considered for the 20% portion. For 20%, the allowed investment are under construction infrastructure projects, whether directly or through holdco and or SPVs. However, this investment should not exceed 10% of the value of InvIT asset. You see green, you find that this is not there in REIT. Listed or unlisted date of companies or body corporate infrastructure sector. However, this shall not include the investment made in date of the holdco and or SPV. Equity share of a company listed on a recognized stock exchange in India which derives not less than 80% of their operating income from infrastructure sector as per the audited account of previous financial year of these companies. If InvIT has been allowed to invest in these companies as well, as far as 20% portion of the value of InvIT asset is concerned. They can invest in government securities, money market instrument, liquid mutual fund or cash equivalent as applicable for REIT. Aforesaid condition to be complied with and at the time of offer document and continuously thereafter. This concept of not less than 50% of 51% of consolidated revenue of REIT, HCSPV other than gains from disposal at the time of all times from rental, leasing, letting real estate or incidental didn't find mention in study material of infrastructure investment project. Similarly, these conditions that half yearly basis, if it is to be there is a breach, it has to be informed to trustee and ensure compliance within 6 months, extended by another 6 months by investor, doesn't find mention in study material for InvIT. However, if the infrastructure assets are sold by InvIT or holdco or SPV, or if the equity shares or interest in the holdco or SPV are sold by InvIT, then the same provision is applicable for InvIT. Similar, InvIT shall not undertake lending to any person other than holdco SPV in which it has invested after disclosure and investment in date. It will not be lending, considered as lending. Co-investment with any other person, term shall not be more favorable to other person, shall not prevent InvIT in complying with regulation, and agreement to include minimum percentage of distributable cash flow. Distribution made. With respect to distribution made with the InvIT and the holdco and or SPV, not less than 90% of net distributable cash flow of SPV shall be distributed to the InvIT holdco in proportion of its holding in SPV subject to applicable provision of Companies Act or Limited Liability Partnership Act. Then not less than 90% of net distributable cash flow of InvIT shall be distributed to the unit holder. With regard to distribution of net distributable cash flow by holdco to InvIT, the conditions are: that if holdco gets cash flow from the SPV, underlying SPV, then 100% of such cash flow received by holdco shall be distributed to InvIT. That means whatever he gets from SPV is full amount as received by holdco. With respect to cash flow generated by holdco themselves, it is 90% of such net distributable cash flow that will come to InvIT. Such distribution shall be made and declared, and not less than once in every 6 months in every financial year in case of publicly offered InvIT, and not less than once every year in case of privately placed InvIT, and shall not be made not later than 15 days from the date of declaration. Distribution made by InvIT and Holdco and SPV. %90 of net distributable cash flow of InvIT to unit holder once in 6 months within 15 days. Property sold by InvIT, Holdco, SPV, or equity interest Holdco, SPV sold. If InvIT reinvest sale proceeds, not required to distribute. However, if does not invest within 1 year, 90% of it has to distribute not less than 90% as per the listing provision and trading units of InvIT regulation. It is required to distribute the same. Late distribution calls for attract 15% per annum interest charged to investment manager, and such interest shall not be recovered in the form of fee or any other form payable to the investment manager by InvIT. Rights of unit holder and meeting. Copy paste provision of REIT to receive income as per the offer document, trust deed, and placement memorandum in case of InvIT. With respect to the matter requiring approval of unit holder, a resolution shall be considered as passed when the vote cast in by unit holder so entitled and for voting in favor of the resolution exceed a certain percentage as specified in this regulation. The voting may also be done by postal or electronic mode. A notice of not less than 21 days shall be provided to the unit holder, and voting by any person who is a related party in such transaction as well as associate of such person shall not be considered on this specific issue. Investment manager shall be responsible for all activities pertaining to conducting of meeting of unit holder subject to overseeing by the trustee. However, if investment manager is a related party to such meeting, that is, if there is a proposal to change the investment manager or to remove the investment manager or change in control of investment manager, trustee shall convene and handle all activities pertaining to conduct of meeting. Further, if trustee is involved, its interest is involved, including change in trustee, removal, the trustee shall not be involved in any manner in conducting of the meeting. Annual meeting, same as in case of REIT, once in a year within 120 days from the end of financial year. There should not be two meeting. The difference of timing of 15 months, more than 15 months between two meeting. Annual meeting. An annual meeting of all unit holders shall be for any information that is required to be disclosed to the unit holder, and any issue that is in the ordinary course of business may require approval of unit holder may be taken up in the annual meeting. These businesses are in fact latest annual account of and performance of InvIT, approval of auditor and fees of such arbitrator, latest valuation report, appointment of valuer, any other issue. And here, for any issue taken up in such meeting which requires approval from unit holder, the votes cast in favor of resolution shall be more than the vote cast against such resolution. In case of related party transaction, valuation of assets, all these are the specified percentage required for the proposal to be passed should be only requirement is that the votes cast in favor should be more than vote cast against the proposal. Any approval for unit holder which requires the for investment condition, related party transaction and valuation of assets. Similarly, any transaction other than any borrowing, value of which is equal to or greater than 25% of invitee asset, any borrowing in excess of a specified limit as specified and required under the provision for borrowing and deferred payment as mentioned in SEBI regulation, any issue of unit after initial public offer by invitee in whatever form other than any issue of units which may be considered by SEBI, increasing period of compliance with investment condition to 1 year in accordance with these regulation, any issue in the ordinary course of business which is in the opinion of sponsors or trustee or investment manager is material and require approval of the unit holder, and any issue for which SEBI or the designated stock exchange requires such approval, the vote cast in favor, if it is more than the vote cast against it, then that proposal is that resolution is passed. Now, in cases where any change in investment manager, including removal of investment manager or change in control of investment manager, any material change in investment strategy or any change in management fees, the sponsor or investment manager proposing to seek delisting of unit, or any issue not in the ordinary course of business which in the opinion of sponsors or trustee investment manager requires approval of unit holders, any issue for which SEBI or the designated stock exchange require approval, any issue taken up on the request of unit holder including removal of investment manager, removal of auditor, removal of valuer, or appointment of all these persons, that is another investment manager, another auditor, another valuer, then delisting of invitee if unit holder has sufficient reason to believe that such delisting would act in the interest of unit holder, or any issue which the unit holder have sufficient reason to believe that is detrimental to the interest of unit holder, or in case of change in trustee, if the unit holder have sufficient reason to believe that act of such trustee is detrimental, then approval of unit holder shall be required, where vote cast in favor of resolution shall not be less than 1.5 times of vote cast against the resolution. This is the condition required for passing of the approval. The rights of unit holder, how it is exercised, that is with respect to rights, not less than 25% of unit holder by value other than any party related to the transaction and its associates shall apply in writing to the trustee for the purpose of resolution. Then when trustee receives such application, the trustee shall require the issue of with the investment manager to place the issue for voting in the manner as specified in this regulation. Then not less than 60% of the unit holder by value shall apply in writing to the trustee for the purpose. If it is a proposal to change the trustee. Then these conditions I didn't find in our study material, that is the vote cast in favor requires 3 times more than, not less than 3 times more than vote against, that is change in sponsor, redesignated sponsor, or change in control of sponsor and redesignated sponsor. So these are the not topic in NYT given in our study material. Then similar for the disclosure requirement, though I find that these are all applicable for NYT, but that is not there in study material, but disclosure is compulsory. It should be in the offer document as per regulation and circular of or guidelines issued by SEBI. Also, it should submit annual report with respect to all activities within 3 months, then half yearly report all within 45 days of half year ending 30th September. It is applicable in case of NYT also, but it is not there in our study material. Similar disclosure, the sub heading of disclosure is not there in our lesson 3, but all these disclosure are applicable as far as the NYT regulation are concerned. So the NYT and REIT differences in study material or lies like this. Liability, again, liability, as I have already told, all parties are liable for contravention of regulation, notification, guideline, circulars or instruction issued by SEBI. There is requirement of strategic investor, as this is applicable for NYT also. So the same, though not given in the topic, but covers NYT also. That is circular dated 18th January 2018, which is applicable for both NYT and RIT, wherein what are a strategic investor has been defined. It is an infrastructure finance company registered with RBI as NBFC. It can be scheduled commercial bank, it can be international multilateral financial institution, systematically important NBFC with RBI, foreign portfolio investor. These are all strategic investors, and these strategic investors shall invest jointly or severally not less than 5% of total offer size of NYT or such amount as specified by SEBI with applicable provision of FEMA. For public issue, there is a requirement for REIT as far as the strategic investor is concerned. That is, a strategic investor should hold minimum 5% and maximum 25%. In such cases, public should hold minimum 25%, and a sponsor is allowed to hold from 5 to 70%. Issue price, utilization of fund should be not less than the price for public, and amount to be kept in a separate account till public issue is open. Lock-in period of 180 days. Now for NYT, there is another topic of maintenance of record. I find that as far as maintenance of record is concerned, this is applicable for trustee as well as investment manager. Investment manager is liable to maintain records of all investment or divestment of NYT and documents supporting the same, including rationale for such investment or divestment, agreement entered into by the NYT or on behalf of NYT, document relating to appointment of persons, insurance policies for infrastructure assets, investment management agreement, document pertaining to issue and listing of units, including placement memorandum, draft and final offer document, in principle approval of stock exchange, listing agreement with designated stock exchange, details of subscription. All these records are to be maintained. Then books of account, financial statement, audit reports are also to be maintained. For trustee, trustee shall maintain records pertaining to certificate of registration granted by SEBI, registered trustees, document pertaining to application made to the board for registration as an NYT, title of the infrastructure assets. However, where the original title document are deposited with the lender or any other person in respect of any loan or debt, the trustee shall maintain copies of such title document. Notice and agenda sent to the unit holder for meeting, its minutes, resolution passed, all these is to be maintained by trustee. So friends, this is what the infrastructure investment trust as far as the study material of CS professional course in new syllabus is concerned, and I believe this covers sufficient topic so that we are ready with the examination, we are ready for the examination, and hope this would be beneficial and we would be able to compare REIT and NIT with a better clarity. These two regulations are same, there are not much of a difference. The only difference is that REIT is basically public offer, and whereas NIT could be privately placed also. So hope you are all keeping well. Thanks for being with me. Thank you very much. Enjoy learning.